in our company.
This media model has helped elevate Bartlett and Flight Story to the upper echelon of new media, whose peers include those like Alex Cooper and Mr. Beast. But Bartlett is taking his venture in a different direction. While many podcasters like Alex Cooper, Joe Rogan, and the Kelsey brothers have signed $100 million deals with streamers like SiriusXM, Spotify, and Amazon, Bartlett has turned down the offers he's received. He's set on building independently because it offers him flexibility to share his content cross-platform and experiment with what works. It's working so far, and as Georgie said, it wasn't through gut instinct, but rather in data science that Bartlett has cracked the code to building an empire on his own in this new media landscape.
I tend to think in terms of principles because a strategy is useful, but it decays, it's ephemeral. So a strategy is like me giving you a fish. But if I give you a principle, it's like me giving you the fishing rod, so you can fish for yourself forever. And one of the principles is that in the world we live in today, where the correct answer is changing faster and faster and faster, the correct answer in technology is accelerating, which means the correct answer to anything, to how to shoot an interview, to how to make a podcast, to which platform to use, to where to put the meme bar on the video, what the title should be, what the color should be. If you just understand that as like a principle, then the way to find the correct answer before everybody else is to increase your rate of experimentation. So here we have a full-time failure and experimentation team so that we can
Failure and experimentation team used to be called research and development. It's just another fancy way to say research and development. Somebody said there's a shorter one on Forbes. This is Forbes. Oh, you want me to go to this one?
Today on Forbes.
I'll go to this one. Y'all saying that they explained it a little bit clearer and shorter. Oh, shit. Give me a second, y'all. Let me pull this back up.
A podcast empire. It's a Monday morning in March, and Stephen Bartlett sits in his studio in London's hip Shoreditch neighborhood to record the latest episode of his hit podcast, The Diary of a CEO. With more than 10 million YouTube subscribers and 25 million social media followers, the interview show is one of the most popular in the world. Only Joe Rogan has more listeners when it comes to hosted podcasts. On this particular day in March, Bartlett is recording a debate between economics influencer Gary Stevenson and entrepreneur Daniel Priestley, where they'll argue whether entrepreneurship can save the middle class. The episode will later attract 3.6 million views and more than 46,000 comments on YouTube alone. The debate is fiery, but the buzzy content is only partly why millions tune in. Data plays a vital role, too. Bartlett, who launched 2 social media companies before hitting podcast fame, has already tested and optimized every aspect of the show. He's calibrated each detail for maximum attention: the capital letters and exclamation points in the episode's title, the lighting, the camera angles, even his raised eyebrows in the preview thumbnail photo. Each factor is part of Bartlett's blueprint to attract viewers. The 32-year-old Bartlett says, quote, "I've not met a single podcast network, company, media conglomerate in the world that can help you grow your podcast using the modern platform in the way we can." And grow he has. Launched in 2017 as a hobby to let Bartlett get inside the minds of other CEOs, the podcast has attracted more than 1 billion streams, including 50 million monthly listeners in December alone. Guests have ranged from comedian Trevor Noah and YouTube titan Mr. Beast, to a mix of self-help experts, including longevity gurus, nutritionists, and sex therapists.
How many listeners, how many views is he getting a month?
And grow he has. Launched in 2017 as a hobby to let Bartlett get inside the minds of other CEOs, the podcast has attracted more than 1 billion streams, including 50 million monthly listeners in December alone. Guests have ranged from comedian Trevor Noah and YouTube titan Mr. Beast to a mix of self-help experts, including longevity gurus, nutritionists, and sex therapists. In 2024, thanks to his mix of compelling content and growth hacking, Bartlett says the franchise generated $20 million in revenue from brand partnerships with brands like LinkedIn, Oracle, and Shopify, speaking engagements, and hawking products like hoodies and branded journals.
So basically, he doesn't make the majority of his money in revenue and shared revenue from advertising on YouTube or advertising on the platforms that he put it on. A lot of these people actually make the majority of their shared revenue or the majority of their revenue on outside sources, and that is normal. Most people, Mr. Beast gets sponsorship deals. Of course, he makes a bunch of money on YouTube and all of that other stuff, right? But he gets sponsorship deals, and the sponsorships generate way more revenue, which is the thing that I am going to start pivoting into, is that sponsorships, now that we have the numbers, now that we can go through and say, hey, listen, this is what our numbers are, this is what we generate in revenue, or this is how many watch hours that we have, this is how much the audience stays with us, this is what we doing on the Anton Daniels channel versus other platforms and stuff like that. You can go in and you can say, hey, these are the numbers, this is what I'm generating, and this is what's happening. Hey, we're growing by this much every single month. Whatever, so on and so forth. And so, taking that completely different strategy will 100% change how you pitch yourself to people. The real game for a lot of people, and they don't even understand this, is in sponsorships. It's in sponsorships. When you have the number, you can negotiate better deals. Now, some people negotiate deals based off of exclusivity. So there's some people that say, hey, I want as many sponsorships as I can get. I want this over here. I want T-Mobile. I want DraftKings. I want all of that. And then there's other people that say, okay, well, listen, the sponsor will come in and say, hey, I will pay you an egregious amount of money in order to have exclusivity and basically being the person that, supports you throughout this process. We want to basically run an ad on at least half of the live streams or half of the videos or half of the things that you put out on the internet. And we want to be the premier person that basically says, hey, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So the problem with that, in my opinion, is that you can create a platform for money, or you can create a platform based off of authenticity and impact. Now, in both situations, you have to be great. You have to be able to generate a lot of views. You got to generate a lot of visibility. You got to do all of these things. On one side, though, is that if you are generating a lot of these views, but at the same time, you're not being a part of the corporate structure, then you're going to hamstring yourself. Anton, what does that mean? That means that if you're tackling subjects that are too controversial, that get too much visibility, you can pull it off if you're not as big as a content creator, right? And I'm talking about maybe a micro content creator. But once you get more visibility, people are going to start being bothered, or brands are going to start paying attention to exactly how you brand yourself. Me in particular, man. On the Anton Daniels channel, we averaging over 21 million views a month. I'm averaging over 21 million views a month on the Anton Daniels channel now, right? And so that's a big number. 21 million views a month, 1.3 million watch hours, and we're growing at a rate of about 31,000 subscribers every single month. Just looking at my numbers right here, my content, my numbers, and all of that. And we trending up. So when we then make our pitch deck, right, when our contract renewal comes up with, for example, Teach Henley, then that means that we got to renegotiate the bag. Either we can get out of an exclusive deal, you can maintain a partnership with us. I don't know what your marketing budget is. We've had a long-term, really good long-term partnership. Then it's easier for me to pitch it. The problem then becomes, if I decide to get out of the deal with them, because Teach kind of let me do whatever it is that I want to do. And that's part of the thing that I pitched. I said, listen, my content, I might go off the rails and tell somebody to suck my dick. That's what I do. I'm not a person that's going to be censored. The other side of it is, if you look at some of these other platforms, they're a lot more polished, So it's easier for them to be able to pitch something and say, okay, well, listen, this is what we do. This is what we rock out like. And this is what we rolling with. What's the gross profit on the YouTube channels? 90% plus. I don't know what the 90% plus is what you're saying. How do you feel about telling somebody to suck your dick? Well, it depends on who I'm telling it to. If I'm telling it to a woman that's sitting here in my place, I feel real good about it. If I'm telling it to somebody online that's being a little bit incendiary, I would wish they wouldn't push me that far. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that I'm liable to do anything, and that's one of the things that make me a little bit more appealing is that you don't know what I'm gonna say when I'm gonna say it. If gross profit is above 90%, I don't have anything I don't have a lot of overhead. So gross revenue, it just depends. It depends on the channel, it depends on the watch hours, it depends on the type of content that you're talking about. Y'all might have to jump into the Patreon in order to deep dive into that, because I show all of my numbers and stuff like that on the Patreon. But that's correct, Sib Lab. Once you go corporate, they put the cuffs. And I don't like to be controlled. Good job, Gemini, getting the profile picture.
Okay, I ain't even had the mic on. Is he gonna talk about the deal? Let me see. What is he doing here?
That's correct, Sib Lab. Once you go.
Okay, he's just talking.
The pros and the cons of what you do want versus what you don't want. There are no bad deals. Let's be clear. Look, if you ever get to the point to where you can make over $1 million, and anything above that is all a good deal. I don't care if you sign a deal for 100 million or whatever. If you go to Spotify, you get an exclusive deal or whatever. There are no bad deals. You know what I'm saying?
Podcasting is the new Hollywood, though. That's the new Hollywood nowadays. Everybody wants to be a podcaster because that's where the money at. Why you think Michelle Obama is a podcaster now? She trying to get them $100 million deals too. Joe Rogan got a $100 million deal. Shannon Sharp just got, well, I don't know if this deal is still gonna go through since his other allegations, but he was about to sign a $100 million deal with a company, and then this guy he's talking about here, Steve Bartlett, he just got offered a $100 million deal. It's going to be then what's going to end up happening, which is cool, but what's going to end up happening now, like what I said about Michelle Obama, well, Shannon Sharp and Michelle Obama, is that Joe Rogan as well. He's the godfather because Joe Rogan was doing podcasting before it was just him by himself doing podcast. It wasn't even popular. So I think he really deserves a $100 million deal with Spotify because Joe Rogan was doing podcasting before anybody was getting paid from it. He was doing it just for free, just to be talking, you know. But I think what's going to end up happening is these celebrities are going to see these big paydays with these corporate brands on YouTube and all these different social media platforms as far as their podcasting. And these celebrities are going to come over and start. They're already coming. Like I said, Michelle Obama has one. Who else? Shaq got a podcast. So they are they're trying to get those $100 million brand deals. That's why they're doing it. You know, it's money in this podcast shit. That's why a lot of them are doing it. But see, what's going to end up happening is that people, the YouTuber like me, the unknown who don't have celebrity guests, I don't have connections with to be able to call Cat Williams to come by and sit down in my couch in my living room and do an interview. I'm going to suffer because you got all these celebrities. I'm pretty sure I think Kim Kardashian is getting one. So you're getting all these celebrities now that Hollywood is shutting down, and they all running over here to social media now, and they're gonna all try to get podcasts. I heard that Drew Barrymore is talking about doing a podcast, if she don't already have one. So you got all these celebrities coming over to YouTube and Twitch and all these social media networks. And guess what's gonna happen to the nobodies like me and like you, people who don't know you, people who don't have connections to call up an agent and say, hey, can I have Chris Rock come by my crib so I can do an interview? We gonna suffer. We gonna suffer because we don't have the connections. So I believe social media is getting ready to be new Hollywood, and eventually, what YouTube and a lot of these social medias were made for, it was made for the people. It's not gonna be for the people no more. It's gonna be for the elite, because they're gonna be the ones the algorithm's gonna favor. They the ones that can. Kim Kardashian gets on podcasts, or Khloe Kardashian, she can call up Travis Scott, because Travis Scott got a baby with her sister. Travis Scott, one of the biggest motherfuckers in the world right now. So, boom, she automatically gonna get 1 million views, get a check, and then you see what I'm saying? Versus the Sandra Dean somewhere in Seattle, who has a really good personality, but she's unknown. You know, she has a personality, she has a presence, but she don't have the connections to get Travis Scott to come. She's not in LA. You see what I'm saying? That's what. So I think it's going to be. These deals are going to attract the elites who already have the fan base, and then because Hollywood is drying up, they're gonna run over here, and they looking to get those 100 million. And the more advertisement they see of these guys get these $100 million deals, the more they're gonna start getting podcasts, and they're gonna start getting reaction channels, because they want to get some of that money too. You know, which is, hey, it changes, man. So now us nobodies, we got to figure out how we gonna get seen now, because they done came over here to our platforms now. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, but I guess we'll figure it out. Anyway, y'all, this is Anton Daniels, the Millionaire Morning Show. Check out his channel. I like to give credit to the content creator. This is Anton Daniels. So check out his YouTube channel. I'll put the link at the bottom so y'all can go right to his channel. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this video, man. Leave the comments and subscribe to Charles and Ezra. Hit the thumbs up button.